Welcome to Satsang. So one of the things that happens to everybody is that things go wrong, and on some days lots of things go wrong. And so how can you stay peaceful and calm and not go into turmoil when things go wrong? There is a way. It's basically an attitude. So today we had appointments in town, in Perth City, and the appointment was at 2:45, so we left early to get there along the freeway, and we managed to find some parking. Very expensive in Perth, and we managed to walk our way up to where the appointment was in Murray Street. And we got in there and found out we needed to go to the first floor, and once we got to the first floor we found out that there'd been an error. That the people who invited us to the conference had invited us from Sydney on Facebook, and they hadn't allowed for the 3-hour time difference, so the appointment wasn't at 2:45, it was at 5:45. So we were 3 hours early, and there was practically no one there. A few of the main organisers were there, and they had a chat with us, and they gave us a little bit of information, and we went away. Went back down the street to our parking meter and paid $9 parking because we couldn't stay. We had to come to work tonight and do satsang. So then we left Perth, and on the way back we run into a traffic jam. So we decided to take a detour, and instead of going left I went right, got into another traffic jam, and just one series of things after another going wrong. And you could get frustrated, you could get upset, or you could just understand that if it was meant to happen differently, it would have. There's no mistakes. If existence had have wanted us to be there at that meeting at the right time, it would have happened. We were there at the right time. We were there when it didn't happen. If existence didn't want us to get caught into a traffic jam, we wouldn't have got caught. We were meant to get caught, otherwise it wouldn't have happened. It's okay. We found our way out of it eventually and found a smooth way home. And so an afternoon was basically spent driving around and walking around instead of attending a conference which we'd planned. And of course other things we let go so we could go to that conference. And on the way there, got a bit of time in the car, so contact the new bank that we've joined to find out why they haven't issued us with the correct cards we need to operate the sort of accounts we have. And after a great deal of talking, we discovered they weren't going to give us the cards that we needed, and it became apparent they weren't going to give us those cards over a week ago. They just weren't willing to be straight with us. They weren't willing to tell us what was really going on. Maybe they thought we could resolve the issue without cards, I don't know. But this is just what is. We just shift to another bank. back to a previous bank that we'd already given up actually, because they didn't want to cooperate. But they're cooperating more than this bank. But what's the point in getting disturbed and contracting inside? It's just what is. If we were meant to be with this bank, if we were meant to get these cards, we would have got them. Otherwise, things would be a little different. So we're going back to a bank we spoke to before, who is willing to give us what we want. But maybe we weren't meant to be with that bank before. Maybe we're meant to be with them now. It's like people keep thinking somehow something's wrong. But everything's as it's meant to be, otherwise it wouldn't be so. What's the point getting upset? Just because we have a plan on how we think it should go, that doesn't mean it's going to go that way. It's just how we think it should go. And if we can move to acceptance of what is, which is the new plan that's been put in place for us without our knowledge, there's not a problem. It's only when we go into resistance to what is and get offended somehow that we actually suffer. Because what is what is. We make things right and wrong and we can get caught out pretty badly. So rather than living in a world with an attitude that, oh, this is right or this is wrong, how about living in a world where this is what is? And with this is what is, there's a lot less to think about. It's just what is. If we make something good, we can have a story about it. If we make something bad, we can probably have a longer story about it. Getting caught in our heads, in our minds, away from reality. When if it's just what is, it's not much story. We can just be here. We can be with what is. Relaxed, cool. Not upset. So we're only talking about an attitude here. A way to live this life more beautifully, more serenely. And after all, we all look for quality of life, the beauty in life. We don't want poor quality, but most of the time the poor quality that we get is created by our own attitudes, our own resistance to what is. Because if we're resisting what is, the quality of our life is pretty low. If we're in acceptance of what is, the quality of our life is pretty okay. And it's us that create that, not the world. The world just does what the world does. So in gaining an understanding of acceptance and practicing it, you can have an equanimous life. A life where your mind can stay relatively calm and relaxed. You can stay at peace because you're not constantly complaining because things are either right or wrong. They're just what are. They're just what is. They're just what's happening. No more, no less. Matter of fact, if you want to have a close look, everything's perfect, just as it is. Otherwise it wouldn't be so. So, once again, it's up to you. What kind of attitude are you going to carry into the world? How are you going to live your life? What kind of life quality are you going to give yourself? Because it's your attitudes that are going to make the difference, not much else. Things go the way they go for everybody. How you view them, how you respond to them, dictates whether you suffer or not. So, quite clearly, from where I sit, you make yourselves suffer. It's up to you. Every time you go into resistance, you hurt yourself, and it probably doesn't change much. It's not that if something doesn't go the way you want, you don't pursue it. You can pursue it. but from a place of acceptance, not a place of contraction. A place of let go rather than a tightness, a resistance. It's up to you. You're creating your reality. Thank you for satsang.